Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to SpicySnafu, where it is always situation normal, and I am pure chaos. And today I want to tell you about a cult that I joined recently.
Well, hold up. It's not like that. Let me explain.
So since I posted the event reel, a lot of folks have asked when they saw me, hey, why does that video have so much puking? What's up with the puking, man? Recently, I got to experience a long time running and almost entirely unadvertised match series. One of my local range homies has been hounding me for the past couple of years about attending one, and a few months ago, I broke down and finally agreed. The particular match was in Texas, so we could drive and camp out, and it seemed like a no-brainer, and I was honestly curious what all this cola business was about. So this series is called Cola Warrior. Cola, C-O-L-A, Cola. I would use the song, but you two would be mad at me. So the final stage for all cola matches, at least to my knowledge, is the chug, in which you bring your favorite carbonated non-alcoholic beverage and down about 2 liters of it as quickly as possible. And for this event, there was even a challenge sponsored by MOA Targets to drink eggnog instead. And a couple mad lads attempted that challenge, and as you can probably imagine, it did not go well. Still, shout out to MOA Targets for the Never Nog challenge. So I chose a Bomb Pop flavored Great Value seltzer water, kind of like LaCroix or bubbly, and it was awful. A lot of folks recommended I chug something I don't like, and this flavor is terrible, so that really checked out. Some people said not to chug seltzer water or the bubbly waters just because it's so carbonated, but I really didn't want to chug a 6-pack of soda cans, so I went with the no sugar option. Seems like Mountain Dew is probably the overall preferred beverage for most folks. Just throwing it out there, Mountain Dew sponsorship would be okay. So let me know in the comments how wrong I am, of course, but from my understanding, the stages are always pretty similar in setup between the different Cola Warrior events. They do vary slightly between each event based on the location, space, and kind of what is present for obstacles. But for this Texas event, it was on an amazing piece of land with an outstanding host, so I might be a little biased when traveling to the next one. So we started out with the obstacle course, and that's followed by the AK disassembly while eating some peeps, as peeps are another staple of cola. Then you got a half-mile run to the range, followed by the shooting portion, and finally topped off with the chug. There's been a lot of perfectly honest moments in this video, and the first one, I guess, is I learned how to climb a rope about a week prior to this event, maybe less than that, but my buddy has one in his shop because he is a diehard Cola OG, and so it was convenient that I was at least able to get some reps in on the rope because I didn't do that in school. I took my time on most of the obstacles. I didn't want to be fully gassed before the run and the shooting portion, and so we did the rope run first, and then we had the log obstacle where you're going to carry the log on top of the telephone pole. After that, the kettlebell obstacle, for me, it was all luck. Thankfully, I didn't have to spend a ton of time on this obstacle like some folks, and just got lucky. I think it was my 4th throw or whatever it went in. Big props to the dudes who were able to complete this on the night run, and just in general to the night shooters, as this gets a lot more interesting the second you have no depth perception. After the kettlebell toss, the log drag wasn't too bad, but this was really, one of those moments in my brain where I thought about prioritizing fitness more and how that would really have helped in that current moment. And finally, I have no idea what this obstacle is actually called, so I'm just going to call it Big Iron. And here's to you, Marty Robbins. All those gun memes. Yeah, buddy. So the Big Iron obstacle was really all about how you carried the pipe, and I guess some ability to actually hold the weight. Some folks chose to carry it on their shoulders, which seemed to work pretty well for most of them. I figured it was going to be a whole lot more comfortable and stable to front carry it, so I just did it live. I guess if you got some big shoulders and big traps, it'd probably be a little easier to shoulder carry it, but I am not a large human. So after the obstacle course, one of the always present and, signature things about Cola, I guess, the logo is literally a peep and crossbones, and the peep thing is not a joke. And so to be perfectly honest, again, I am not into AKs, nor do I own one, and it's been a while since I've really even shot one. But thankfully, my homie with rope is also addicted to reassembling and disassembling AKs with a blindfold on, and basically, I've had some practice recently hanging out at his house doing that, and so thankfully, I did not completely shit the bed on the AK assembly. So once that segment is complete, competitors throw on whatever additional gear they need, unless they're running the combat class, which I was harassed about not doing, and those guys start with the plate carrier on.
Yay, good job. Forgot your plate carrier though.
Shittiest combat run ever.
But basically, throw your belt on, grab your rifle, and run through the woods to the range. It's like a half-mile run, so not too terrible, but you kind of got to navigate through the woods with some not ideal signage. Just shout out to whoever made the signs that awkward. I like to ruck and not run, so this was easily the highlight of my internal how to suck less next time mental recap, and just in general, like, you know, fitness is the only thing that's free and the thing you should probably prioritize. I guess dry fire is free too, but you got to buy some stuff. Fitness, you just have to use your meat suit you've been given. So we had a couple contestants get lost on the woods run, shout out to Rob, and end up further down the road than they were supposed to. Thankfully, the guys had a megaphone and they kind of, you know, navigated by sound.
I didn't see any signs. I had it.
Somehow I followed the signage and actually made it to the right location at the range. So for the shooting phase, I felt pretty good going into it. I was not thrilled we had to shoot a Texas Star or a spinner on the pistol portion. I've only shot the Star a few times and never been to a match that had a spinner. So in addition to my 115 grain, that was a little concerning. And for the rifle segment, I brought Frank, and that's Frank the Franken rifle is my go-to dance partner for anything, and it's the most accurate stick I've got. I was pretty surprised at the variety of setups people were using. Rifle optic-wise, there was a lot of people who weren't able to finish the shooting portion for whatever reason, but there were some small targets that would have been significantly harder with less magnification optic-wise. Now, I haven't really been the puke and rally type since my 20s, and I was a little unsure about how the chug stage would go for me, as I have not shotgun beers like it's my part-time job in a very long time. So I got lucky again on this one and was barely finished with my final bit of liquid before I needed to violently evacuate the contents of my stomach. Violently. Initially, the chug stage is what I was most nervous about, and it turns out it's fairly manageable. You get to pick what drink you want, you know, whatever your preferred flavor is, and the meta seems to be going with a 6-pack of cans instead of the 2 1-liter bottles with the chaser. You just have less opportunity to lose points. Correct me if I'm wrong again, but I'm pretty sure the rules are if you puke on that can is spent and you get the penalty. So I managed to make it like the final drops going into my mouth, and a couple seconds later it all came back out. Okay, so I really feel like I need to do a, you know, caveat or disclaimer on this section. I am not trying to roast anybody. This really is coming from a place of love, and I just hate seeing people suffer unnecessarily and waste money. Honestly, that's kind of why I wanted to start doing this crazy thing to begin with. Help people save money and enjoy more time, spend more time shooting and not struggling. So, caveat aside, this is something that I've seen at local matches all the way to bigger events where people have traveled and are getting lodging and having to pay for, right? I guess TLDR, good zero, good mags. But first thing, magazines. One gentleman had the wrong height magazines for his pistol. So like 17 mags in a 19. And if you're not a dirty Glock person, basically the magazines were too short to fit into the gun and actually seat. So big issue. On the rifle side, there were a lot of folks that were having rifle malfunctions. So maybe they have a dirty gun or they've got something else going on. But generally, I feel like the lion's share of rifle malfunctions are magazine contributed, I suppose. Give me a more sciencey word in the comments, please. But it seemed like people had lots of mag issues. On the flip side, I personally, opinion again, I feel like a lot of people did not have the ideal rifle zero for their rifle, so they hadn't zeroed it with the ammo that they were planning to use at the event. And for me, my TISM will not allow this. My pre-match ritual is I have to go shoot at least like a box of ammo with the gun I'm shooting at the match if it's anything important beforehand, just to make sure that the gun is doped for that actual load. Generally, I'm shooting the cheapest 55 grain I can get my dirty mitts on, and so it does even vary between like PMC Bronze and Frontier or whatever you're going to be putting through it that day. And if I'm being perfectly honest, again, I don't really know my holds and mills that well most of the time. So, you know, get out there and dope your gun properly, get some data. Overall, I had an amazing time at this event, and I cannot wait until the next one. The people, the location, the course, and of course the prizes were all top tier. And seeing great companies like Geisley, STAC, MOA Targets, and others supporting this series year after year, it's pretty awesome, honestly. It's a positive thing in the community, I think, to see companies that are willing to partner with smaller groups and contribute a lot of prizes. Like, that table was stacked. But you do need to be prepared for some heckling during your run. That is a crucial part of this entire experience. And so one gentleman who I kind of assumed it was his first cola, because it was my first cola and I didn't realize how much people were going to yell at me and tell me how much I suck. But one gentleman did get epically butthurt about the heckling. And it doesn't matter if you're a dude, you're a lady, you're fit, you're not fit, yeah, a little husky, whatever, big, tall, you're going to get heckled. That is part of the process. So if you're a sensitive individual and you are not going to really deal well with the heckling, you should probably just stick to most of your standard matches. Very rarely do people that are not your homies yell at you when you miss things. But if you show up to Cola, a beautiful Asian man just might yell at you and tell you you missed every single time that you miss, because he's good at that.
Do better.
Either way, I appreciate you guys for watching and for being here. I know your eyeball time is limited and there's a bajillion channels in the gun sphere that you could be watching. So I just want to say thank you on that one. I really do appreciate you being here and watching. Check out the Cola reel from the Texas event a few months ago in my shorts feed down there if you want to. Check me out on IG. It's at SpicySnafu, just like on YouTube. And thanks again for being here. I really do appreciate you. So stay safe, and if you can't stay safe, stay spicy. Until next time.